Okay, I'm excited, like Sheldon Cooper on The Big Bang Theory or Sheldon Cooper in the Young Sheldon. Today, I'm very excited. Uh, I picked up an article. I have these Google alerts on certain terms, and I study solar a lot, so I have a lot of solar terms. But under the term Fraunhofer Institute Solar, I came up with an article from Clean Technica. And what's interesting is this article is talking about getting 190% efficiency on solar, um, which would put the other forms of energy out of business. So if you really look at the world, it's like energy aid organizations. What are the biggest businesses on the planet? Energy, like oil, gas, coal. Then you got minerals, I guess, which would be like, you know, um, gold and silver and platinum and things like that. But in one of the biggest industries in the world is the charity or the aid organizations, and they are one of the biggest businesses on the planet, and the auto industry, right? So like Tesla's kicking on all of these, okay? I mean Elon Musk, okay. But in this article by Clean Technica, it picked up a thing. So I have three different organizations that I try to pull articles from. Fraunhofer out of Germany, Norel, NREL out of Colorado, and there's a Chinese one, which I don't get much information on, but there's a Chinese evaluation. All three of these companies evaluate and sort of help the solar industry to expand. Now, there's two things that are happening right now. They're trying to come up with the thing that's holding everything back is really the batteries. Okay, we need a battery explosion. But the new dawn for solar cells, 100% quantum efficiency is possible. This is exciting. And what they're doing here is, I mean, how do you get 190% efficiency, right? That's kind of strange, right? But what is happening, and I'll try to get there's a man in Lehigh, okay, Chinedu, Ekuma in Pennsylvania. He's at Lehigh University, physics professor. Okay, he's Lehigh University professor Chinedu Ekuma in Pennsylvania. Okay, this is the guy that thinks. So I put a couple new. I used his name and I put the word solar in it, and I made another Google alerts, and then I did one on Lehigh University with the word solar after it. So I got three words, kind of a long tail search. And what I'm going to try to do is come up with the more information on this. But what is happening? Okay, what is exciting is when you look at sun coming down, there's different things that are happening. Okay, so the sun comes down and hits these solar panels, and it sort of absorbs the sun and converts it to electricity. Okay, and then you have what I never thought about, but you also have reflection. Okay, which I'm not sure I'm reading this article correctly, but I think there's three elements here that gets it above 100%. Okay, and so you have reflection to collect it, and then you have another thing called heat. Okay, and what's interesting is when I'm in Togo, West Africa, or I'm in Africa, I'm always trying to figure out how to get a hold of these inside the 125 Chinese motorcycles. They don't have a spinning magneto or anything like that that generates the spark. It's actually a heat generated spark. And so there's a heat plate that attracts the electricity and then converts heat into electricity, okay? Because you need a spark, right? And to ignite the internal combustion engine, okay? Okay, so I've often tried to figure out how to get one of these things at an economical level where they could put it on the side of their, when they're cooking with wood or coal or whatever, charcoal or whatever, and they could put it on the side of these things and then generate enough electricity to charge their 5-volt smartphones, right? Because really the number one thing that people want on the planet is not electrical lights. They really want smartphones. And the LED light is making the cost of energy cheaper and cheaper because now we have 7-watt LED lights. I'm under 3 of them right now that are about, I don't know, maybe 9 to 10 watt. So that's a very low extraction of electricity when you normally would be competing with a 100-watt light bulb that also puts out a lot of heat. Okay, so what he's doing, this guy, Chinedu, Ekuma in Pennsylvania, he's somehow extracting all 3 of these sources. Now, when you get a Google alert or you get a press release, these generate from press releases, okay? And these press releases are fed over to Fraunhofer and Norel and this other Chinese one, and then they work together to do research. And there's a chart in Norel that I actually bought the shirt for, showing the solar efficiency. And for years, I've been saying that when solar efficiency on a commercial basis, okay, they got in the space stations, they got 45% efficient solar panels, okay, but they're too expensive to produce to be considered a viable source of energy. So right now, I think it's at 23% on the Chinese. China is really the big player in the solar energy business, as far as I'm concerned. And I was investing, when I had the Schwab account, I invested in a couple of stocks. And if I had a lot of money, I would be doing this on a bigger level. But you got to figure out the situational, to invest in stocks, you have to figure out the situational change, okay, the change that makes all the difference. So a while back, I talked about the Toyota solid state. I think it's it's kind of a SOT thing. They have a solid state. Toyota has a new solid state battery that may come into fruition and pretty much put away the problem of battery storage. Because what you need to do is have a very fast charging battery and very efficient, and you got to be made with things other than lithium. Lithium's got to be one of the more expensive components of a battery there is, and they're in smartphones, whatever. And then the more expensive thing in solar panels is silver. So how much silver is going to increase in value and make all this decrease? So silicon-based stuff is really where they try to go, or salt-based, okay? So they try to get away from the thing, and they get this thing for solar panels called perovskites or something like that. But this is exciting because if you could get above 50% efficiency, you could put the coal industry, the gas industry, the nuclear industry out of business. And contrary to what people think, they're acting like they're going to have these solar plantations all over the place, and they're going to have these great big places. And you can have them on top of the ocean, and you can have them in the sub-Sahara. I mean, Africa may well be the ideal place to have the biggest solar industry on the planet. And then you could have cheap labor, so you could make factories in sub-Sahara Africa, and maybe all the Chinese stuff would move over to, all the manufacturing would move to China, or maybe we could get it to do in the desert of near Las Vegas or something like that. Any desert is a great place to create both a factory and a energy source, right? Right now they're saying Tunisia is putting up solar panels enough to supply all of Europe, okay? And this is going to grow. And around Indiana, where I live, there's this silent revolution of solar panels. There's little solar fields all over the place. And they're growing like, in secret because nobody cares about them. While when you put up renewable energy of wind power, or you put up nuclear. See, nuclear is about impossible to succeed because even though Bill Gates is acting like it's the best thing, maybe fusion would be the answer. But the point is this: it's a way for him to keep his control over his stocks. Okay, what's great about solar is it's independent, and it's what's the word for this? They call it. basically nobody can control it. It's like Bitcoin. Bitcoin is uncontrollable because you have these different areas of things. So in a way, solar could be completely free and everybody could have their own solar sources instead of depending on the government to supply the energy. Now in the United States, they're passing all sorts of laws to make sure that solar doesn't become location independent or whatever, where people can go outside using the grid. I mean, the government wants to control the electricity, they want to control the gas, they want to control everything because it's one of the biggest taxable sources of income. Okay, I mean, what's gas get taxed? I don't know, 20 cents a gallon? Okay, but we can't really go to solar cars unless we have very cheap solar electricity that doesn't spin up. If it's created by coal or gas, and sort of in nuclear. Nuclear's got a shelf life of too long, right? It doesn't really make sense. Okay, but they could go to hydrogen-powered cars, which might be easier to convert the solar to hydrogen, then use hydrogen cars. So there's a fight on how to source these things. I'm not real fond of the idea of having electric cars, not because I don't think it's a good idea, it's because the electrical chemical synapse inside our nerve system is all generated. So like when they shock you, when they show you on TV and they're shocking somebody, that's shocking the electrical system in the body. So do we really need to be surrounded by a bunch of batteries emitting all this EMF rays and electrocuting us? People are worried about 5G because they say that it's electrocuting the people. If you get one of these little solar, EMF, magnetic force things, you can get them for about $35 on Amazon. You'll find that if you get within 5 feet of your microwave, it goes berserk. Okay, I've had these things for fun. I like gadgets. Okay, so again, how do you study solar? Okay, the easy way to do it, if you read your emails, is to get a Google alert, and then you put in the term Fron. Let me go back to my page. I'm going to put this all in a Google Docs, and I'll put it into the, where did it go to? Okay, so we have 3 different organizations. You need to create a Google alert, NREL, N-R-E-L, and then you need to create one with the word solar next to it, and then you need to create one for Fraunhofer, F-R-A-U-N-H-O-F-E-R, Institute Solar, and then you need to take these Lehigh University and put solar after it, and you need to put Professor Chinedu Ekuma as a thing. And what you'll do is you'll get emails daily. Most of this stuff is just hokey crap, and most of this clickbait stuff, right? But there's a lot of it that's not. Okay, and this is the interesting thing. There's a Clean Technica article that is pretty good, okay? And I will have this all inside the Google Docs that will be underneath. It'll be under the thing notes in my description on this video. Okay, so if you go to the thing, you can read it. It's just saturated with advertisements. Really hard to read when people's minds stray so easily. But I really think the advertising is causing some of the worst clickbait on the planet. Without advertising, we could get rid of the clickbait. And some of these organizations really have enough money, they don't really need to advertise. Like Bill O'Reilly. I'll never forget, here's a funny story. Bill O'Reilly said one time, tell me one thing that Joe Biden's done that's good. And Joe Biden actually went to the NREL. Okay, let's see if I can tell you what this means. NREL, the National Renewable Energy Laboratory. It's in Colorado. He actually went there to visit, which is really good, because if you're going to make all these green laws, which are trying to put coal out of business, and you don't need to put coal out of business, you don't need to put gas out of business. What you need to do is increase the solar efficiency, and it'll do it automatically, right? I mean, they cannot compete. In this article, it says something about we can finally give the fossil fuel industry the boot, right? Okay, so why am I telling you this? What you want when you invest in anything is to get great returns. I mean, if you just want returns, you can go invest in Tesla and all these Procter and Gamble's and Microsoft and all these big companies, these multinational companies that are investing in everything in Google, whatever. Maybe you can get a return, the Fortune 500. But if you really want to get a big return, you got to get into the beginning where the company is just getting new contracts and coming into situational change situation. So this is a situational change. Okay, so if they could go from a bump from 22% for commercial grade solar panels, which is what you can buy from China off the rack, blah, 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 off the rack. Maybe that's a good way to look at these commercial things. And until, if we could just jump to 40, okay, you'd put all the energy sources out. So you could get it on two ways. You could short all the energy stocks, and you could invest in the thing. So you could double dip it, right? But I don't know what to say about the United States. The United States is in a bubble right now, and I'm expecting I'm actually hoping for a stock crash that decreases, and I want 20 to 35% unemployment. This is not going to kill people, guys. Contrary to what you think, it's just a painful thing. But we have to have a correction in this bubble, okay? Because between inflation and they don't act like hyperinflation can ever happen, but I do believe that the value of the United States is greatly decreasing. What's happening is when they say the rich get richer and the poor get poorer, the difference between the United States and, say, like a West African country is 250 times more expensive, okay? In 1500s, it was 4 times more expensive. Now it's 250 times more expensive, and the wages go like it. But I'm also saying that if you guys really want to extract money, go live in somebody's guest room and work 52 days inside the United States, because each day inside the United States, especially California, where they're anal, they got a $20 an hour minimum wage now, and that is crazy. So in 8 hours, you make $160, and that's about what I pay a week for my living, traveling the world, okay, which is hilarious, right? So you can actually live inside the United States in somebody's guest room, and I don't know. You gotta work this out. But if you can you can even go camping, right, in certain places and off the grid, camping in certain places and work 52 days in probably McDonald's. Okay, just imagine if you had a higher paid job at $35 a month. Then it only takes like 25 days to live anywhere and everywhere. That's what I do. I live anywhere and everywhere. I'm a global citizen. Okay, so you can invest in things, but look for the situational change. If there's not some big bump, something that's going to bump, like right now, I was just telling Rick, he said, on Monday, I would expect that today is Sunday. On Monday is, let's see what the date is, April 14th. Tomorrow, April 15th, you might have a big bump in the, military-industrial complex. See, what happens is we give $100 billion to Ukraine, and we force them to buy $100 billion worth of military equipment. So the Eisenhower military-industrial complex, in concert with the multinational, with the media, which is making more money on advertising. And right now, Israel just got bombed by 100 different, just got attacked by 100 different drones and a few ballistic missiles from Iran. So this is going to give a lot of excitement to anybody investing in military stocks. Okay, so you might have which would be like the insurance industry buying bigger and bigger clumps, or they might be selling on Monday. If they sell on Monday, the stock will go down. Okay, but what happens is if something hits the front of Wall Street Journal, it can either go up or it can go down. Normally it goes down more than it goes up, because the big investors like the insurance industry dumps on the day, they dump into good news, okay? And so all these principles are really hard, because only about 1 in 20 people is actually capable of coming up with a strategy and understanding tactics. Okay, so stocks, the best way to turn a fortune into a shoestring. Okay, I'm Andy Lee Graham, and I'm going to tell you again, and I'll put on the video. I'm going to put Google alerts. That I'm going to put Fraunhofer, Norel, and how to solar something solar on the picture here. But I'm very excited because when you can see, like anytime I buy any kind of gear for my travel, I want to have 2 or 3 uses. Okay, I don't want one use. One use just doesn't make it. Okay, a one-use thing like a water bag, a Camelback water bag. This has got to be the worst possible investment you can have as a world traveler. Okay, it's pretty good for the military, and it's pretty good for bikers, but for world travel, it's just a joke. Okay, but it's a one-use thing, highly difficult to clean, great way to pollute your lungs, get plastic through your lungs. You know, you already got a mini microplastic problem on the planet, so we're going to put something inside kind of a rubber plastic bag and carry it in our bag. It's ridiculous. A water bottle, which is funny, I carry water bottles. These things do not leak, okay? They are made to not leak, okay? And anytime I actually need to carry a water bottle, I just buy a water bottle, okay? I'm not going to carry a stainless steel water bottle or some porcelain, you know. Really, you can't carry a plastic one because there's so much plastic in our body that the United States government just passed a kind of EPA, I think, on forever chemicals. They're trying to stop forever chemicals from entering the water. Okay, because right now so many chemicals are entering our water through our water, through our air, through everything. These chemicals are saturating the body. Okay, I'm Andy Lee Graham. Become a Patreon supporter. That sort of makes it easier for you to communicate with me. And I'm on the trail of being a philosopher, but a polymath, philosopher, inventor, innovator. I actually think a lot more about innovations and inventions than I do actually philosophy. And on the other side is, I don't know what to do. I'm always afraid that I'm going to attract people. Like if I talk about this heat thing for motorcycles, I'm going to get all these zealots, right? You got the motorcycle zealots, you got the car zealots, you got the scuba zealots, you don't really have solar panel zealots, right? You got Bitcoin zealots, and those guys worry me, okay, the Bitcoin people. But everybody's got their zinger. I'm a multi-zinger person. I research a lot of things. Become a Patreon. That gives you the ability to sort of ask questions and write me and call me and do certain things. And I'm a world traveler. I went to 114 countries, and I've lived roaming the planet. I've been roaming the planet for 26 plus years. I'm here, and you're not. Why not? Hit that subscribe button, too. I always forget to tell you guys that.